going. All right, here we go. All right, so welcome everyone to the 2021 Space City Rocketry. This is our second general meeting of the year. I wasn't here last week. I just want to say I missed y'all. I hope you missed me. But let's get started. What we have the agenda today. We're going to be talking and giving a little bit more clarification of like the COVID protocol we have set up for the lab and for SCR. Obviously, we have the shout outs like every other week. We're going to be just the L1 schedule again, some announcements and deadlines, and then sub-team updates, and finally questions. So just to give a little more clarification, I know we sent out a message a few days ago about COVID testing. So we have asked everyone to please get a negative test every 14 days in order for you to attend any labs or events that we have for SCR. Even though we have said 14 days, we still encourage everyone to please get tested at least once a week. I know the cases have been going up recently, and we do have on-campus testing with Curative. It shouldn't take too long for you to get your results. So please just get that done. That way you can go into a lab and do work with all the leads and everyone else. There's no requirement for a test. It could be any COVID test, so CPR or rapid test is okay. The masks, they're going to stay on again, just like last semester. So if you go into a lab, please just wear your mask and so on. And we're bringing back the 6-person lab limit for each sub team. Besides avionics, they have permission for 7 since they have 2 leads. And this is just for the AIAA members. So if a research student or a professor walks in, they don't go into like the 6-person limits. So if you have any questions about this, just message Gustavo or me, but I want to just say that we're doing this just for our safety. You know, we don't want to spread COVID around. I know right now with the variants and everything, super contagious. The amount of cases are peaking. So just please stay safe. If you have come in contact with anyone who's negative, I would just advise for you not to attend any labs and let us know and then get tested. Anything else, just let me know. For shout outs, I want to give a shout out to Ravi. Ravi, as you all know, is both the lead of analysis and the treasurer for AIAA. I want to give him a shout out because right now it's going to get a little more hectic. Whenever we're ordering stuff, he's going to be helping out with finances for AIAA, everything else. He has a lot on his plate, but we all know Ravi can do it. So shout out to him. Also, a shout out to Will for verifying the nose cone selection with the drag calculations. We sent them the open rocket files we had, and they came into a conclusion for our nose cone. You'll be seeing that later on for analysis. And then Brandon, we want to give him a shout out. He's been working really, really hard. We talked with Haley, and she's mentioned that he's always working hard and putting initiative with structures. He's always willing to put himself out there and help out as much as he can. And also for designing an L1 rocket and Olympic rocket. So thank you, Brandon. So L1 schedule, same as last week. That screenshot is from last week, so please ignore it. But if you scan the QR code, you'll see the new one for this week. So if you plan on going, just put your name in one of the slots. But check that a lead is going. That way somebody can be in the lab with you. I know a few of y'all are still working on your L1s, so that would be great. I'll give you a couple of seconds to get started on that or to scan it. Cool. So some announcements and deadlines that we have for today. So parts have already started to be ordered. So last week we finally gave all the approvals to get all the airframes. So they will be getting here in a little less than a month. Recovery is having like their final check. Carlos has mentioned that he thinks recovery is a very great place. I also think that way too. So as soon as we we get the purchase order, we'll sign it, verify everything's good, and we'll start purchasing everything. And then with the motor too, it's been a little off with the emails just because of the replies we get back from these people. They're very, I think you saw from last week's reply that Tala got, they're not very clear. So we're still working on that. Another announcement we have is last week we visited AI Coatings. It's a little like close where Bush Airport is. It's kind of far from here, but we went with some of the leads. It was great. We got to see what the AI Coatings is doing with graphene. It's crazy. They work with Tesla, SpaceX, a lot of other companies. They work with even like celebrities, military things. They're doing a lot there, and luckily and thankfully so, we have gone to sponsorship again from them for the painting. And I guess we'll be going more into detail with like our desired values this year. So we're gonna take to them our airframes, our nose cones, our boat tail, everything, even our fins, and talk to them, let them know what we want and see what they can do, and also getting like values so we can input in our simulations. And we will be meeting with them probably 2 or 3 more times throughout the semester. So I think we should give the opportunity to members who aren't sub-team leads to go and see the place themselves. We should have pictures of us going there, but we haven't gotten them back. They also gave us like a gift, which is basically a bunch of oils for like cars. You can probably see them here. Pretty cool stuff. And then last thing is this semester, there's going to be a heavy emphasis on seeking funding for the semester for competition. So we will be working really close with the AIAA officers, trying to set up funding events. I know the sponsorship package is something they've been working on. But if you have any questions about anything in here, or I've talked to the last few minutes, just message us. We'll clear anything out. So now sub-team updates, analysis.
So once again, kind of a slow week for analysis, but something notable. Thanks to Will, we did verify the 4-to-1 tangent ogive nose cone as the correct choice. As you see, it experiences the lowest amount of drag in the transonic region and in total drag up until apogee. So pretty easy to just plug in with our MATLAB code. But also I've been doing some more research for fin flutter analysis for non-trapezoidal shapes, and RAS-Arrow 2 has been as fun as ever for those who have played around with it. So also trying to do some additional research and see what other material or sources I can use to help us out with that. And then lastly, just trying to find new meeting and lab times for the upcoming semester. So excited to continue working and finally get some parts in and maybe some hands-on work.
Yeah, on that note, thank you, Ravi, for presenting. On that note, this semester, I don't know if I put it in the slides last week or if we brought it up, but all the meeting times are being reset this semester. So all the leads are going to be sending one to meets. I'm sure a few of y'all have seen it already. Actually, avionics already picked their number 1 lab time. It's going to be a first come, first serve. So whichever sub-team lead sends me the time they want to meet for labs, they're going to get their time reserved first. So if you really, really want to have like the best time for yourself, fill it out as soon as you can, and then that lead can send it to me and we'll go from there. But thank you, Ravi. Let's go avionics.
All right, so for avionics this week, it's been pretty slow, but also pretty busy. We finally completed our purchase orders. So everything that we need to order to work on for this upcoming spring semester, we worked on getting all the major parts ordered. So thank you, Joe, and to Kurt they've both been working insanely hard on that. And for trade studies, we completed a trade studies for strain gauges. Thank you, Switson, for that. We are still working on trying to see the viability of that, but so far it looks like we got a lot of research done on that end. And as for CADs, we have a new CAD design for ground station. So recently, Kurt looked into a pre-made design for our LCDs display. So as you can see on the top right, that's our new upcoming CAD design for ground station. And the way we do that is like the one on the bottom, we would just sort of build around our new design instead of having to figure out how to exactly fit the LCD display into a box. We would just work around the LCD display itself. So I feel like that'll be a lot easier moving forward with counting it for our ground station. And as for lap times, we have selected a new lap time for the spring semester. It's going to be only one lap time, 1 3-hour lap time on Thursdays from 4 to 7 p.m. And so we saw on our 1-2 meet that seemed like the best lap time for a lot of members to show up and for the majority of our members to show up as well. And so moving on for that, we also have a new 1-2 meet for our virtual meetings. So like Irvin said, all of our meeting times are reset. So on top of a new lap time, we also have a new virtual meeting time. So you can see on the QR code there for avionics members, please scan that and fill out the when to meet so we can meet virtually for our 1 hour meeting times. And so besides that, that's it for avionics.
Thank you, Raj. Appreciate it. Payload, what's up?
Pretty short and sweet. We're still preparing for the upcoming semester, setting some objectives to meet, and still choosing our lab time and meeting time. I did send out that when to meet if my payload members can fill that out. We're researching equipment, whether it be availability with 3D printing. Frankie brought up recently that there might be a shortage with getting a hold of Raspberry Pis. We are looking at those availabilities and alternatives for any shortages on any of our components. And then we're ready to take things hands-on, whether it be finalizing, updating, keeping our other sub-teams up to date, keeping Irvin and Gustavo up to date so that we can proceed with experimenting and executing.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, Propulsion, what you got?
As far as propulsion goes for this past week, we're looking into what info is necessary if we want to start actually putting in the order before we give it to Randy to just basically get his signature. And then second point is good and bad news. So the primary vendor with the awesome communication skills, the motor sold out there, but I'm not too sad about that because honestly, they don't really seem reliable if that's how the response times are looking at.
Mhm.
So right now I'm just looking at what our backup vendor could be if Motorman does not, respond in time.
Okay, thank you, Tala. And something else for the Propulsion members who are here and for those who are watching, Gustavo and Tala are going to meet this week, and then we're also going to have like a joint meeting with SRAC Propulsion so we can give Propulsion members actual work to do with an actual purpose, because I know the biggest thing y'all had last year was just selecting the motor, and this semester there was not going to be that many hands-on stuff, but just keep an eye out for that. As the semester gets started, we'll have a clear idea of exactly where we're heading with both Propulsion teams. What's up, Recovery?
Yeah, so last week I started working on, or actually, yeah, some point last week, I started working on a presentation to kind of compile everything that Recovery has done the last semester and kind of just show the reasoning behind all of our design decisions, as well as to go over our, I guess, first design and then seeing how far we've come and what our current design looks like. And then the plan is to show this to all the Recovery members to get their approval and address any final concerns with our design before we actually start ordering parts. So I finished the presentation itself. All that I have to do now is actually record it and send it on the Recovery channel. I can also probably send it in the general chat for anybody who's interested about learning more about Recovery and our current design. And then during today's lab, we started a ground test checklist So next semester we can kind of hit the ground running and figure that out. But upcoming is just ordering parts and continue to work on the ground test preparation.
Thank you, Recovery. Structures, I think Gustavo, you're presenting this.
Yeah, I'm taking over for Haley today, but Structures has done a good bit this past week. Aside of being a little slow, they managed to do quite a few things. They finalized the purchase orders for the A-frames. That's all been ordered and it's on the way, as Irvin mentioned. So that's great news. They'll also be using to save costs, and since it's about the same stuff anyways, they'll be using Oberon's nose cone and couplers. So that's a huge cost savings on that front. They also met with UH Machinist for a couple of things. So first off, the motor block for the top of the motor that keeps a motor retained and all that stuff. They finalized the design for that, talked to him. He's able to do that. So I think the materials are on the way for that. And the design is in his hands as well. And they've also talked about making the boat tail positive. So what they're going to be using to make the boat tail, which is going to help Zenith go a lot higher. And also they've been looking at the fin design selection. So there's a lot that goes into the fin design, a lot more considering the speeds we're going to be going at and all that stuff. So in joint with analysis, we're looking at the different fin flutter characteristics and stuff for all the fins, and trying to find out what thickness of fins we need to make it happen. So that's what they've been up to.
Thank you. Now, I guess the last thing is questions, but before questions, don't leave yet. I wanted to just give some words of encouragement as we're getting started and with the new semester. This semester is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of hands-on stuff, a lot of things we're going to be working on. And I just want to encourage everyone to stay active for those who are here, and for y'all to communicate with each other, like members on your sub teams, like message each other, try to know each other a little bit more, try to build that bond. I know we weren't able to do that as much as we wanted to last semester, but if you know someone in your own sub team who you think is going to bring a lot of value to the table this semester, if you can just send them a message, tell them that we need them, show them appreciation. I know the leads are going to be working on that too, just because we need all hands on deck for the semester if you want to get this done. And I believe that everyone in this team is capable of contributing to some extent to this rocket and be able to say, hey, I worked on that. We built that. We're going to competition. If you want to go to competition, if you want to stay active and put in all that hard work, we really appreciate it, because next Tuesday is going to be a huge meeting, I think. Hopefully we get the members back. Hopefully people start leaving that I'm in vacation type of like feeling, and they can like get on that grind set. So we'll also have a few things throughout the semester too. We want to do a virtual game night with all of y'all where we can play games, bingo, I know Kahoots, just some fun stuff so we can build that team bonding. When we all go in the lab and we start doing hands-on stuff, you'll start to make friends. So I'm just looking forward for the semester, and I think it's gonna be a really, really, really good one. I know Gustavo and I are gonna be working hard for y'all, and y'all will too. So if you have any questions right now about anything, feel free to ask. If no one has any questions, I'm gonna stay here for a couple more minutes and just be here to talk. If you want to talk about anything, I'm down for that. But I guess any questions right now? You can type them too if you don't feel comfortable. Just say anything. Well, I guess we don't have any questions. So I will be seeing y'all throughout the week. I'm gonna send more reminders in all the sub teams. I hope you'll enjoy your last week of vacation, and I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm gonna stop the sharing and the recording now.